In the music section this week, nerds, we have a follow-up on that Adam and Howard project from Killswitch Engage. We have Lorna announcing a super duper epic tour. We also have new music from Slipknot, kind of. We're gonna get to all that and a bit more, so let's rush through this, shall we? Welcome, nerds, to this week's edition of the music news. This is just a section, one section of six, count them, six other sections that we do over on the main channel in a show I like to call Week in Nerddom, where we talk about all of the nerdy things. You can find a link to that show down in the description or at the end of this video. Now let's talk about new music, touring information, and other generally interesting things to do with the music news. You thought I was going to say generally nerdy, didn't you? All right, so follow-ups and corrections. We have Adam and Howard of Killswitch Engage. Howard formerly of Killswitch Engage. Adam currently and always from Killswitch Engage. The side project that they announced a little while ago. The last we heard of it, though, was last August from Howard when they had finished the demos and they're going in to record. Seems they are now done recording and they're jumping into the post-production for this record. Still no release date for it just yet, but, you know, as that gets closer, we will be talking about it. That's what we have for follow-ups and corrections. Let's talk about new music and videos. I'll try and make this really quick. All right, so kicking things off, we have Nonpoint. Nonpoint has released a new track called Underdog. If you are a fan of Nonpoint, this is going to be more of exactly what you are expecting out of one of your favorite bands. Just saw them, honestly, on the Coal Chamber Mudvayne Psychotherapy Sessions tour. They were put on a hell of a show. Like, I saw them once or twice back in the day, too, and still put on a hell of a show then. The video is a lot of footage taken from that tour, it looks like, and also just kind of solid Nonpoint. If you're not a fan of Nonpoint, this isn't going to change your mind, but it's well produced, well done. Go check it out. Our next one is Nightwish. I've honestly kind of been wanting to do something from Nightwish for a little while, just because it's an interesting band to talk about, because they do write this epic prog, like cinematic kind of metal, and this is a different one than I kind of expected. So the name of this track is Perfume of the Timeless. It's over 8 minutes long. The concept for the video is really cool. It's about your ancestors and how many people it took to bring you to this moment, and just really, really super interesting conceptually. And then the music is exactly what I was expecting. Again, I've heard Nightwish once or twice before, but never actually listened with any sort of analytical ear. And this song did not disappoint. You have just a whole lot of movements going on. The final movement of the song gets surprisingly heavy, which I didn't really expect out of these guys. But yeah, definitely go check out Perfume of the Timeless. And then we have our final piece comes from Serj Tankian, who is in System of a Down, though there's a lot of stuff going on around that these days. He's released a new autobiography book about himself, and that reveals all of the issues behind the scenes with System of a Down and whose fault it was and blah, 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 blah. And that's not what we're talking about, because it's kind of already stuff we've all covered. What we're talking about is his new song, AF Day. Supposedly was written as originally was going to be a System of a Down song. Didn't turn out that way, so he released it as a solo, and I feel like it would have benefited from being a System of a Down song. It's not to say it's bad, it's just, it feels like there's something missing. Maybe it's John on drums, maybe it's Shavo's weird bass. Any one of those elements from System of a Down could be what it is, or it's all of them, I don't know. But Serj releasing it on his own, okay, sure, go check it out. It's interesting, if nothing else. But that's what we got for new music. So let's kick it over now into tours. We have 2 tours that have been announced since we last spoke of touring music things. The first of which is Goatwhore. Goatwhore is going on tour with Vitriol, Thantifaxath, and I don't know who the hell that is, Herakleion, I don't know who the hell that is either, and Necrofier. Tour starts August 9th, runs through September 30th. You can find link down in the description if you are looking for tickets to see some classic extreme metal from the Goatwhores and the people they have decided to take on tour with them. From there is the big one that I am super excited about, and that is Lorna has announced a new tour, headlining tour with some rather sizable venues considering how young these guys are. Support for the tour is Whitechapel, Kublai and Sanguisugabogg in reverse order, obviously. Sanguisugabogg is going to be opening the show. Whitechapel is going to be on right before Lorna Shore. So tour starts September 19th, runs through October 30th, approximately 2 months of tour throughout the States, and that is pretty freaking exciting. Once again, links for tickets down in the description. Let's jump into regular ass news now. Kicking things off in the regular ass news, we're coming out swinging. We got the Slipknot news. We have a new song coming from Slipknot. It's not out yet. We don't know when it's coming. We just know the name of the new song is called Long May You Die. A similar naming theme in a way to the most recent record. So interesting. This is going to be the first one with Eloy Casagrande. So super interested to hear how he does in the studio with these guys. We've heard how he does with Sepultura. Now it's going to be interesting to compare that to, you know, the Slipknot stuff, but we've already kind of seen that on his YouTube channel, and I'm spending way too much time on this. Let's move right along. Our next piece is a bit of a sad one, so I'm gonna have to slow down real quick. Stained. Original drummer Jon Wysocki. I still can't say that name. I've read that name since I was a teenager, and I still can't just say it. Jon Wysocki, original drummer for Stained and also drummer for Soil, has passed since we last spoke. Jon had liver issues, so he was under active medical surveillance. He passed with friends and family near him, so it was as peaceful as possible considering the situation, and he was 56 years old. That's crazy young. So I'm gonna take a moment, calm everything down, and just remember Jon. Okay, so from there, let's hit our last piece of music news, and that has to do with Guns N' Roses. Slash is out doing press tours promoting his solo record that he's just put out or is about to put out, something along those lines. Slash, those that don't know, guitar player of Guns N' Roses, also Myles Kennedy and the Conspirators, that's the word. Myles Kennedy and Conspirators, he's a guitar player there, blah, blah, blah. Slash's Snake Pit, he does a lot of things. This is none of those, though. On the tour for his solo release, press tour, he was doing interviews and talking about, you know, other things that are going on in his life, and he just kind of casually drops the fact that Guns N' Roses is freaking working on new music. We did get a 4-song EP from them in 2022. He said that as a continuation of those writing sessions from COVID, from lockdown, from all yada yada, there's a lot more new music in the works. Now, will we see it before Axl Rose dies? And maybe. Believe it when I see it. Until that point, though, that's what we got for regular ass news. Let's get into our suggestions this week. We've done it fairly recently, so I kind of didn't want to do it again, but then Jon passed, and so Stained Dysfunction is your suggestion for music this week. This music was very influential in my formative years when it came to what kind of music I was going to be into and create myself. This record is honestly kind of a magnum opus for these guys. They were never able to repeat the songwriting style of this record. Break the Cycle was pretty good. Shades of Grey was less good, and then just kind of became radio rock from there. But this record is amazing. Standout tracks, you've got Just Go, you've got Home, there's every song on this record is a banger, but just go check out Stained Dysfunction. That is your musical suggestion for the week. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.